Hi, this is Antti from React Studio. We get asked a lot how you can create this kind of a feed and then show some items from different, not data sheet, but different collection in case if you are using Firebase, different items collection and show a list of stuff inside an item. It's a similar like in a restaurant app that we have here. I would like to show all the reviews for each restaurant inside this item here, inside the restaurant item. Or in a social media post, you would have a list of posts and then show all the comments for each post in the same list. It is really tricky to actually achieve this, and in the studio we don't have any built-in support for it. The data sheets that we are using in a studio, they are just global sort of arrays that you can have only one array in a screen. Otherwise, if you update the data sheet inside the list, then you will end up having the same data for every item. So we have to do this in a script. So let's head to this deep end immediately. Here's the login gate I've added here, because in this example I'm going to show all the reviews I've created for this particular restaurant. So we have a login gate and we're using Firebase as a backend. Here's the database for the backend. Here we have a list of restaurants, and then we have reviews for review documents here, and review contains restaurant ID and user ID and the review data. And in a restaurant collection we have a document key for which is the name of the document, and that this will be the restaurant ID for each restaurant. Anyway, how we do it: first we need to create the list for the restaurants. This is easy peasy. We're just loading the list from the Firebase, and then in a restaurant component we have image and name and then just static text which shows your reviews. And under here we have list, and it doesn't show anything. It's because we are filling this list in a script, so the Studio Canvas doesn't know how to show it. Anyway, in this list here, the data source is set not in a take items from datasheet. It is used that we're using the items array, and this is just an array that we are going to use as a data source for this list. And I've just added reviews here. It's just a property, doesn't do anything. But in a script, I'm getting the reviews from the state. So the array will be get the array from the state, this.state.reviews, and then return that input. And that will be the data source for the list. And in the review component, this is just a standard component, name and rating component, and then the review text and properties are set here. And how do we get the reviews for each restaurant? So that is done in a script inside the component, restaurant component. I head to script editor, and we have to do it in a template here, and it has to be in a component did mount code. It has to be here, otherwise it doesn't work. So I've just created a standard query for Firebase, and I have user ID, which I get from the data slot, and the login gate will store the data slot, the user ID to the data slot, and then I will use the restaurant ID here, and we're going to use this as well in the query. And the restaurant ID comes from this component's props, document key prop, which is obviously the restaurant ID. And then we have the city, the reviews collection, and then empty JSON array, not JSON array, but just an array. And here I created a query. So let's get all the documents that have a restaurant ID, which is the restaurant ID here, and where the user is, user ID. So I only get my reviews. And then we go loop through all the documents. If we don't get any documents, then we just return nothing, and if we get, then we just add the object into array. And then finally, when we looped all the documents through, then we set this array into state. So we set state reviews and the array there. And that's it. That's everything we need. So we know that every time when this component is built in the screen, we will also make a query and query all the reviews for this restaurant, and then we get it in the array, and we set that array as a list, data source for list. And if I put this running in the browser, we should get a list of restaurants, and I will get only the reviews for each restaurant that I've created. And if I create a new review, let's add a restaurant, for example, this one. I will create a new review. Amazing place, and let's give it a 5-star and best food in town. And post a review and head back to our app. We should have here nothing because I created the query so that it's not listening the changes in a collection. But if I refresh this page, then we have my review here. We don't have anyone else's reviews, only mine. This is just a similar kind of structure that you could have in a social feed or anything where you want to have a list inside a list. This is not Studio's basic, sort of like it's not a basic stuff that you can do in a Studio, and we don't have plans to add this, but in some time we might have a different kind of data sheets that you can use as scratch, sort of like a scratch data that you can fill it many times in one screen. But currently you can't do this with the standard elements, but you can do it with scripts. But you have to understand the basics of the React and how the component lifecycle goes. But it's possible, and that's how you do it. And hopefully you got some kind of idea out of this. And have a great day.